Good morning, madam.
Good morning. Just give me 5 minutes. Huh? I'm just
Okay.
taking my PPT. Good morning, students. So, students, I'm going to today talk about dark web, and also I may, if the time permits, we will go for OpenAI also. Let's see how it goes. So, before going forward, just okay, just let me start. Let me share the PowerPoint. Okay. Okay, so let's start. We are going to today take over the session on dark web. So I was little busy last week, so I was not able to get more content on it. So whatever I have gathered, I will just try to talk to you about that. Okay. So what is actually a dark web? Okay. So dark web basically is a collection of the website, which is mostly the online content is encrypted. We also say that 75% of the internet is in the dark web, and only the 25%, just like an iceberg, is the public internet, which is non-encrypted, which is accessible by public, a normal public, without any kind of a restriction. Okay, so the dark web consists of those websites which operate in a shadowy corners of the internet. That means it is hidden. Okay, where it is this kind of a websites are which are on the dark web can be accessed using a very secure anonymous connection. Okay, you know, normal connections, normal LAN connection or any kind of connection can't access these websites. Okay, so this network of connection is also called Tor network. Tor network. So there are two major benefits of using Tor. First, user can access normal website in a completely anonymous fashion. That means if you are connecting to these websites on dark net using Tor, your identity is your computer IP address can be masked. You can have a kind of a mask identity. Your identity is not revealed. And second benefit, or the second thing is, the website owner who has created this website on a dark web can build hidden sites on dark web that they can host anonymously. That means these sites are not available or accessible by a normal public. The site can be accessed only through the anonymous browsers like Tor. At a basic level, dark websites run just like any other website on the internet. Only the creator of the site build a web server, either using a physical hardware or a cloud hosting services. So these servers runs a normal operating system such as Windows, Linux, or it has a web server software which is running on it that allow it to answer the user request for the web page, just like any other website. So this is the same thing you do to build a website for your own business or organization on a normal internet, that you build a website, you host it. We have done those exercises also. And that you give access to anybody. Anybody who have a website address or a URL can access unless and until you provide a authentication by user ID and password to access that. Otherwise, these are available for anyone. So when a user wants to access a normal website, they just simply connect to that website over the internet by typing the URL. That's what is a normal website on a public, accessibility. Their computer look up at the IP address of the website they had to access and then opens a connection to the site server. The site then send back page at the user request. Like for example, you want to access the Gmail. So Gmail server's site request is sent by the client to the server, and the server which is hosting the Gmail will now download that back pages or that web pages which the user is requested in a normal internet or normal public sites. And user knows where the website is located from that IP address information, because even Google website, you know the IP address, and through the IP address you can find the location, and the website also knows the IP address of the user. The Google will also know that who is trying to access their server. Okay, and they can also store, and as I have told you in the last class, that the Google store all the IP address or the information in their log file for the later analysis. Whatever you are searching this, from which IP address that request has come, they store that in their log file for analysis. So when you use a dark web, what happens? You replace the internet in this diagram with a Tor network. And the Tor network actually run over a regular internet, but it replaced the direct connection between user and web server with a kind of a proxy or maybe a maze of encrypted connections between two, user and the server. So it establishes a client and server network by using an encrypted connection between the two, and which remains anonymous. That means the user identity is not hidden from the server, and even sometimes the server identity, the location and about the server identity through the IP address is masked. So that's thing. So the Tor user can access any website on a regular internet using a Tor browser. For example, let's say that user want to access LinkedIn, and she can simply type LinkedIn www.linkedin.com into the Tor browser address bar. The request is then routed through the Tor network to the LinkedIn server. And when the LinkedIn server receive it, LinkedIn doesn't know the real IP address of the end user. Okay, if they're using Tor. So your IP address is masked. Instead, also the LinkedIn simply will know the return address on the Tor network. The LinkedIn server can then respond to the user with the Tor address, and the traffic is then routed back through the Tor network. So the server on which the LinkedIn is hosted will never learn the identity of the Tor user. Okay, so normal website also can be accessible through Tor if you want to hide your identity or your IP address. So the Tor user can also access a secret website that exists on the dark web. Normally, people use the Tor network to access the secret website on the Tor network, because using a normal browser, you cannot access those websites on the dark web. So these sites are hidden sites, and it uses a Tor network anonymity in two directions, both from the client side and from the server side. The website also doesn't know who's trying to access the identity of the user. At the same time, the user also don't know the identity of the website. Okay. So now, who uses this? Who are the people who are using the dark web? That question is the second question. So as the dark web look like a very negative kind of a word, a shadow kind of a place, the first thing is we presume that it always, when the dark web name come to our mind, we always think that it is accessible by a syndicate of criminals, or the people who want to do some crime on internet or through using our internet. They are the people who are accessing. And that is also a fact, because maximum number of people who are doing some kind of a illegal kind of activities, they are on dark web. Okay, that is one of the major use also. Okay, because when anybody want to create anonymous web traffic, and who will try to do that? Obviously, the anonymous web traffic attract criminals who seek to engage in a transaction while hiding their identity. They want to do something where they don't want their identity to be revealed, and they should be caught. So, for example, this hidden website offers sometime to sell a counterfeit euros in transaction, like fake currencies, okay, where the identity of both the buyers and sellers need to be protected. So, like most kind of, if you are doing an illicit transaction on dark web, I'm going to tell you certain sites on that, which is happening. The seller is requesting a payment in the Bitcoin, an anonymous cryptocurrency. Of course, the buyer is going to need to provide a shipping address for the fake bill and provide a way to trace the transaction to physical location. So but the seller remain anonymous. Criminal activity is a highest profile use of dark web. It is immediately what people think of when they consider a potential for anonymous communication. But also, it doesn't mean that 100% dark web is used for criminal activities. There is a percentage of dark web which is used for legitimate user also, for legitimate purpose, for not doing any illegal kind. For example, the Washington Post is by Jeff Bezos. Okay, he has a news paper, or the publication which is called Washington Post. He bought it, and they are known for talking a lot, or taking a lot of bold things. They reveal a lot of things, just like a WikiLeaks they are. So the purpose of, they have a post on dark web, they have a site on a dark web. And the purpose of this site, Washington Post site on the dark web, is to provide news sources with a way to secure communication with a Washington Post journalist without revealing their identity. Because there are many times in the Washington Post, a lot of journalists have, a lot of article has come about the government doing some kind of unethical practices. For example, about Donald Trump also. That's the reason Donald Trump is, not in a very good books of Jeff Bezos. And even Jeff Bezos. That's the reason AWS contract, when the White House has to give the AWS contract for defense for 5 years. And AWS, Amazon has the best AWS or cloud computing services. It has not gone to them because of the, kind of a anger, or the how Donald Trump was upset with the Washington Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos, and he feels Jeff Bezos is his political enemy. So these are certain things which happen. So the Washington Post, when they have to reveal about somebody so big, like for example, Panama scam, or like about Pandora scam recently, which where many big people of the entire world, right, like Putin, in Nawaz Sharif, in India, Amitabh Bachchan, Aishwarya Rai, Sachin Tendulkar, those people who are using, their black money to invest in certain kinds of, tax havens, to do some kinds of, they are not doing illegal activities, they are just investing their money there. So when these kinds of things has to be revealed, and the source of the person who's revealing this need to be anonymous, because if that source of information is revealed, they will be killed, their life will be in danger. So Washington Post is in the dark web, and basically the journalists contact the Washington Post through the dark web, so their identity, even if it is, so nobody is eavesdropping them, and even if somebody is eavesdropping them, they are safe. So the use of dark web help individual in protecting their identity from prying eyes. So not always the people who are on dark web are criminals. Even defense use dark web. They use dark web basically to communicate something which is secret in nature, where the identity of the source and the receiver, the sender and the receiver, should not be revealed. So dark web is used to help bypass also government censorship in the region of world where normal internet access is restricted. Like for example, North Korea. There the normal internet, and also Syria and some places which is war oriented, where internet access is censored by the government. So there also the dark web is used to get the information from the user, from the journalist, to the newspaper site. So users who access the Tor network can bypass the government firewall and content filtering to access the internet. And without the oversight of government authority, the government authority can't catch them. So the dark web also provide a place for free discussion of political topics and other sensitive issues without the fear of any kind of consequences, negative consequences. For example, there are many groups who are known to use the dark web to communicate with each other. There are journalist communities, there are a lot of things like that. And they don't want their communication to be heard by somebody. And even if it is eavesdropped by somebody, their identity should not be revealed. They should not be caught. So evading the detection by oppressive government sometimes, like I told you, the war-oriented things and all. The bottom line is dark web provides many different group of people with an ability to communicate anonymously over the internet. And this anonymous is used to protect media source, evade government censorship, and engage in criminal activities, or maybe some kind of a thing which if revealed, they will be, their life will be in danger. So for that, this is used. Okay, so this is the use. Now, as I said, not all hackers are treated alike. Last session I spoke about ethical hacking, and I said that there are a group of hackers who are white hat hackers. They are appointed by the company to test their site, to intrude into their site legally, to find out the loopholes. So hacking is the ability to gain entry into a system So hackers, when the term comes, it always give a negative meaning. Hackers, always you people feel that, okay, fine, the hackers can be always hackers who use their talent for criminal or malicious activities. Grey hat hackers are tend to more mischievous than the malicious and push the envelope to see whether they can gain access into a system and try to break it. So white hat hackers are ethical hackers who are security specialists. Even you, when you're learning the cyber security technology, you will also try to develop a talent of an ethical hacker or a white hat hackers. You need to know how to how to become a security specialist who are educated on proper ethical hacking procedures, who also have the knowledge about government rules and regulations. And at the same time, last time I told that you need to know how the criminal can work. You need to know how the criminal think. In addition to these type of hacking, there is a concept of hacktivism. Okay. And when I'm talking about hacktivism, just give me a few seconds. Okay, so what is hacktivism? There is a concept of hacktivism, which means using legal and illegal tool to attack a computer system, okay, and launch denial service attack, DOS attack, possibly steal some information or deface a website with certain contents or protest, promote political ideologies. Last time I gave you some case studies. Maybe to all these. So hacktivists are willing to take fall for their activities, yet do not want to risk exposing themselves. So many hang out on the dark web where they can communicate in a very secure manner. Okay. So if you see here, if you take a look at this diagram, we see the public web, which is visible to anyone. Content is found easily using a search engine like Google and Bing and monitored by the government. And the deep web or the dark web is invisible to most of us. It can't be searched or accessed easily. It can be protected by a password, or it can have a meta tag so that even the robot can't follow these pages. So dark web is invisible to most of it because it is encrypted and uses onion routing between clients. It is estimated that 500 times the size of the dark web is bigger than the public web. As I said, only the tip of the iceberg is the public web, whereas most of the iceberg, 75%, is under the water, which is dark web. So in a lot of time, you will see it is using onion routing. Onion routing is Tor. Okay, you will read more about it technically when you are learning it offline. So the part of ethical hacking exercise is vulnerability scanning. And vulnerability scanning means, this is a website which you can go. Okay, you can make a note of it. Okay, so this is a website where we can see a Tor flow. A part of, and vulnerability scans are commonly done within the organization. Companies do that. They check for the vulnerability and the patches and the configuration issue on the network, on their applications, on their operating system and devices. And when a complete report is generated, it lists the result. You can do that in this particular website. You can go torflow.uncharted.software, and you can run your application program, and certain services are free, and you can see how it give you the results. It certain time it may happen it is not 100% accurate result. It may contain a false negative result also. And okay, so sometime the report generated will be like this. Sometime it may give you a false positive. In addition to the commercial scanning, there are also free scanning tools which are available on the site which I gave you. Okay, so now I want you to understand, to keep in mind, scanning on a particular site or an application should only be done on your own network if you are directed to do as a part of the company IT department. Okay, so scanning of a particular application for finding any patches or loophole or kind of a attack is a kind of a passive attack, a hostile attack. So let us, look into certain sites which are basically available. So one of the site where you can do the scanning of your system, you know, is this, which is called Tenable. Okay. So Tenable is a powerful scanner. It is free for private and non-commercial use. For example, someone that might be using just investigating their own network and trying to find out if there is a kind of a loophole, or if somebody is, spying on their network, or there's a man in middle attack or something like that. Then there is also a site called Qualys pscan. The sites you can make a note and try out. You can just scan any website over there. You can find a server over there. You can scan anything. You can check for SSL issues. You can check for malware. You can also check for other network related vulnerability on this. Okay. So these are some free scanning sites which are available to find out. Okay. Now, how do you anonymously browse with Tor? Okay, just give me a second. Okay, sorry. So let's talk about now browsing with Tor. Okay. Now, as I told that beneath the surface of internet, when we have a secret world, which is encrypted website, which is called dark web, which is again the collection of website, which uses encryption technology. Last time, if you know that I told you that three technologies you should use: firewall, encryption, and all those. I told you encryption technology is something which everybody who's a cybersecurity professional should know. So encryption basically try to hide something from a plain sight. Okay. So the user seek to access these site using a specialized tool called Tor browser to create a connection with a dark website, which uses a strong encryptions and which also protect their communication from prying eye. The main benefit of Tor connection is that they guarantee anonymity. Not only you are protected against eavesdropping, but you are using the Tor properly. Even the website you visit will not have any way to knowing your identity. I already told you this. So website owner don't know the true identity of the user. User also don't know the true identity of the website owner. That is what we discuss now. So it is completely anonymous version of internet, the Tor network, and it is hidden from the plain sight. So while criminals certainly find a home on a dark web, which is very sometimes there are certain people who are privacy oriented citizens or journalists or political people, they also use it. Okay. So this network of connection, which is Tor network, have two benefit, which I already have told you that what are the benefit of this. Okay. So let us now, this is also one website which is speaking about, which I told you recently, that if you want to do a kind of a illegal activity, like you want to send black money and you want to invest, like I just told you about Pandora scam and Panora scam. How do these people, the great people, they contact these people who are investing the black money into some kind of a business in tax havens in their name, and then trying to do, how do they communicate? So they communicate, these people, the big politicians, big celebrities who have a lot of money, black money, they reach these people who can invest their money in tax havens or float a kind of a shell company for them and grow their money, are on available on dark web. They reach them out through dark web. Okay. So that is one thing. So this is what I have already told you. The Tor in action, how it works. Okay. Okay, so I have already explained you this. Let's go into the next one. Okay, so you can see all these kinds of stuffs I told you already. Okay, So, as I said, dark web users may bypass the government firewall, content, censorship techniques. Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about the onion routing and all. Okay. So Tor browser is the primary tool which is used by the end user to access the Tor network. And Tor browser is a simple application which is available for downloading from the Tor project website. Okay. You can download it easily from the Tor project website. This is the site from where you can download. The Tor project website, you're going to, you can understand easily how to download and install that browser. You will, I think, learn about that when you're doing this course. So I'm not going to focus on that. And it is available for Windows, Mac, or many other variants of Linux operating system. You can see a different version of browser here on the Tor website. When you open the Tor, browser, it can run through a startup sequence. And it involves connecting to the Tor network. So during this process, the Tor is creating actually a unique path to the Tor network for your communication and randomly selecting a set of Tor nodes for circuits, which guarantee anonymity. So how does it work? Once the circuit is the Tor opens a browser window that looks like any other web browser. In fact, this is a version of, the Firefox. There's a version of Mozilla Firefox, which is modified to work with the Tor network. And by default, it opened to the DuckDuckGo search engine, which I'm showing here. Okay. So, but we see that the browser has a very normal address bar, just like any browser which you should. And we can use this address bar to navigate to any normal website. So let us try to navigate to certain sites. For example, I will try linkedin.com. And while the response time might be a little, it will not work on my Mac computer. It's a lot of security and firewall install. But you can try this out. You can just try on the search bar, LinkedIn or google.com or anything like that. The response time will be a little slower than the normal Chrome browser or any other browser, but it will go to the LinkedIn website through that. Okay. Like, for example, if you try to go, it will take some time, but it will go and response. You will get the LinkedIn website open. We could also visit the website of the Washington Post. Okay. And we can scroll through this and read the website. Okay. This is a Washington Post, which is normally not available on a normal one. You can read the website just like we would with any kind of a normal web browser. When we visit this site, they know your true IP address or your location. Okay. So if you open a normal web browser and visit the site, like for example, mylocation.org. Okay. So what happens? You can see this site you visit. The site which you visit normally will have your location, will have with a kind of accuracy, not 100%, but accuracy. At least they will know from which country, which particular city you are trying to access. So when you try visiting the same site using a Tor browser, you will see the location of the last hop on the Tor browser. It will not even show the country and the company. You can mask that. You can route it. Maybe you are accessing it from India, but you can show that you are accessing it from Korea. So that is the facility of the Tor. So the website will think that you can, though you are accessing that website from India, you can show that you're accessing it from Netherlands or maybe somewhere in the California. So this is a kind of a benefit of the Tor network. That Tor network like this, for example, if you see here. So I'm trying to, I just tried it with Windows operating system in the desktop of my computer. And I took a screenshot and I'm showing you. So I tried to go from DuckDuckGo, the Tor browser, the Tor network I used. And I tried to go to mylocation.org. And if you go here in the mylocation.org, you can just type any IP address and see. When you go to this website and you type any IP address and see, it will tell you everything, the latitude, longitude, country, region, and everything. But if you are using a Tor browser and the IP address of the Tor browser, if you put in mylocation.org, Though you might be accessing from United States, California, it will show something else. Okay. So that's a kind of anonymity it will create. Okay. So, and the Tor browser is always very, very slow, because what it does, it basically try the same thing which I try to, Washington Post, I try to access through normal browser. And then I took the IP address of Washington Post and put it in my location.org. It gave me the correct IP address, the location and all. But when I use the Tor browser and access the same website and got the IP address and tried it, it has shown me a different location here. So that is how the anonymity is, done. Now, I will give you one example here. Okay. There is a very interesting case which I normally discuss. And I'm not going to elaborate on this case, but I will tell you that how different people are selling a lot of illegal things like arms, ammunition, which are normally in the e-commerce, normal e-commerce site like Amazon and all, you can't sell. Okay. These are all illegal activities which happens over there. So the rise, there is a article called on Silk Route, which is an e-commerce site on dark web. And the founder of that particular thing is Ross Ulbricht. He's one of the most famous criminal justice actually story, which has come into various kinds of documentary also. So what he did, he has on a dark web a site called Silk Route. Okay. This is Ross Ulbricht, founder and operator of Silk Route. It's a site or a marketplace which include criminal activities like drugs transactions, weapon transaction using cryptocurrency. And the site started running from 2011 till 2013. And when the government found out about that, it got shut, but it was in the dark web. People who wanted to sell was routing through this called Silk Route. And it claims that his intention for founding this site, this person said, was to, he's been caught and he's been sentenced. Okay. So, Ulbricht, okay. So this particular site was operated from Austin, Texas. Okay. And this is a boy who graduated from University of Texas in Dallas. He got his bachelor degree in physics. And then he went to Pennsylvania, University for doing computer science industrial engineering. In 2011, after he made certain games and trading, and then he started studying about dark web. And he started studying about hacking, dark web. He became a cybersecurity professional on his own. He didn't learn from any university. And he started a trade route on a dark web called Silk Route. And the Silk Route dark web started, the site which was on a dark web, which is started, accessible by certain specific software. You can't access directly this particular route. Okay. And it required to authenticate it basically in order to access his commerce site or marketplace, which was selling all these traffic, drugs and guns and ammunition illegally. He will authorize and identify the user first on the site. So it will, he started selling everything like most of the drugs which are banned, even to the minors. Cyanides, guns, which are normally not available on a normal this thing. He created incentive and promotion for people who can also come and sell on his site called Silk Road, anything which is illegal. And he assured them that their identity will not be revealed, both the sellers and the buyers. The site came into action when 6 people died. And it was found the drug they have bought on a site, Australia, it happened in 2013. And they were not able to find out that who's running this website. FBI tried to track this person behind, building this, or the owner of the site, but they could not get it until unless 2 3 years after that they could somehow find that Sandros or Salbridge was a person who was doing this, who had built this site, and who made these drug dealers, sellers, and the buyers come on Silk Road and connect with each other. And he was a person who used to charge commission for keeping them anonymous and doing this. He also had a nickname called Altoid, and his programming used to verify the people, the both the seller and the this thing, to keep himself safe. But ultimately what has happened is that he was caught, and now the site is no longer available. Okay. Now what are the enabling, this already I have told you about the enabling technology of IP address and firewall and crypto thing, all these things, right? Now, all these things I have explained to you. Okay. So let's now talk about something else, which is also gaining a lot of, popularity. And I thought I will talk about that. So just give me a second. Okay. Let me also touch today about something called data storytelling with data. Okay. Because I've not conducted any session on that. So I thought I will conduct some session on that also. Okay. There's a question here in the chat box. I will deal with that. What are the applications of Tor web? Okay. So I will tell you a few things. I don't have a slide. So if you don't mind, I will just speak about that without the slide, because I was not able to prepare the slide, but I have the content. So when I talk about the Tor network, basically the Tor network consists of three things. Okay. The first is Tor nodes. The second is directory servers. These are little technical, but then because you asked, I will give you a little bit overview over that. Directory servers, relay, and bridges. Okay. So what is Tor nodes? The Tor nodes are the heart of the Tor network. They are the servers which are located all around the internet that participate in the relay network that create a perfect secrecy. So individual and the organization set up a server, configure them to accept inbound Tor connections, not any other connection, and relay the communication to the next destination in the forward chain. So there is no direct benefit to anyone who's running a Tor nodes. So Tor node is not a public service. It's a node owner who own a particular node, and there are multiple owners of that nodes, which consists of a network of nodes in the dark web. So node owners are donating both the computer time and their network bandwidth to help the Tor network continue the operation. So the next one which I want to tell you in the Tor net is the directory servers. Okay. And what are these directory servers? These directory servers play a crucial role in the Tor network. They serve as a central location for storing the identity of the nodes in the Tor network. It's just like a client server network in the normal networking. The identity of these directory servers are hard coded into Tor browser. There are only small handful of them in the around the world. So the list of the Tor directory servers that are live can be, you can say 10, which are distributed around the world. You can see that. You can find their information on the network itself. So some of them are not available. The next third application is relay and bridge, third component of Tor web. So relay and bridge are very important, which play an important role in the Tor network. The purpose of that is entry, exit, and relay nodes. That means how do you enter into a particular Tor network and how do you exit from a particular Tor network. So the Tor directory servers maintain a list of Tor nodes that may be accessed by Tor user. So there are actually two different categories of Tor relay nodes. The relay nodes are basically like a workhorses of the Tor network, which try to build a network or a communication channel between a node and a directory, okay, and create a encrypted anonymous circuit around the world, okay. So these are the things. Then you know how to route, how to do this. There are a lot of things which you can learn about it. How do you install the Tor browser? So little bit information on that also, if you want, I can give you that. It is very easy actually to install a Tor browser on your system. The Tor browser is a modified version of Mozilla Firefox, and it is designed to create Tor circuit and onion routing through web trafficking through them. The Tor browser is available in all major operating systems, as I said, and it can be downloaded from the site which I told you, Tor project website. Okay, if you are using a Microsoft window on your system, you can click on the Windows icon. This automatically begin downloading the Tor browser symbol from the Tor project website. You can go there and you can select the operating system and you can download that. Okay, after you download that, you can, how do you route the traffic over the Tor browser? Little bit information I will give you about that, and then I'll go to one topic called data analytics, because I've never touched upon that topic in your group. Okay, so you can route a traffic over a Tor network anonymously, as I said. Okay, for that, you have a screen which will prompt you to connect to the Tor network. The first thing, what do you see? So click on the connect, open that Tor network, just like our new browser. Click on connect and just build a normal Tor circuit. Configure your buttons to some specification on that. You know, you can just configure your Tor browser to have a particular IP address used always for connecting to a Tor dark web website. For example, that particular IP address will mask your original IP address of your computer. Okay, you can show that though you are connecting from India, you are connecting from Netherlands. So that you can do it. So you have to configure that, and you can do that. So all kinds of things are there. Just give me a few seconds. Nobody can ban dark web, because as I said that the dark web websites, the collection of websites which are on the dark web is anonymous. The government can't see that. The government doesn't know about it. As soon as the government, like I told you, gave it the example of Silk Road, as soon as the government find out any kind of a website on a dark web, then they go ahead, they have to find out who's the owner of that website. Those are anonymous. From which country this is operated. That's how they can, and they can't stop, because this is not available on a normal public site, right? It is like just a kind of a thing which is hidden from the government censorship. If the government try to find out about that, and government's main activity is to find out this, to find out that what are operating on a dark web. But it is a very difficult work. It is a very secure world, world from lot of the identity and everything is very much secured and very much hidden from the government praying out. If they find out, who's the owner, from where it is rooted, from which server, from which country, then they may do something which is very, very difficult to do it. Okay. Okay, now I will take a small session, and after that I will end the session. I will take a small session on data analytics, which I have not touched upon. Okay, so just give me 2 seconds.
The audio is not there.
Sorry?
Audio, you're not hearing any audio. Audio is not there.
No. This is not a video. I'm just trying to share it. Just give me this.
Okay. Okay.
So today, a very favorite topic of mine, which is called storytelling with data. See, students, those who are a data analytic, professionals, there is two part of data analytics. One is maybe you will be learning about descriptive, prescriptive, and analytical, diagnostic, all those kinds. Maybe you're learning about certain techniques for data analytics and all. Where what I'm going to talk to you about is data analytics all about how do you summarize the big data and draw insight out. And the data analytic professional should be a person when they are presenting. See, it is not about analyzing data. Your work is also to present that analysis to your managers, to your client, to anybody. And how do you do that? So the concept of data analytics go hand in hand with a technique about how do you analyze and explain those analysis to the people who are concerned. So a very important technique which is used to analyze the data in the organization, in the business, is called storytelling. Because if you just start telling that you can see the growth, for example, you are doing an analysis of 5 years on attrition rate in one particular company on the employee. And then further you go on drill down analysis and try to find out that what is the reason, who are the people who basically leave the company, what is the reason for them to leave the company, and who are these people, from which source they are recruited, all those kinds of detailing you are doing with the data analytics. So you are presenting that. Once you have analyzed that, you go and present in the management. You just show in the form of graph or maybe in the form of tables. And if you are showing in the form of tables, or so let's say in the form of a graph, that from last 5 years, what is a growth or what is a attrition rate? Is it growing? Is it falling? All those kinds. So you have to picturized or visualized, present the data, which is called data visualization. Very, very important topic of data analytics. How do you make or present or visualize your data and present the data? So one of the technique is called storytelling. We will take some example here. Okay. So in our life, we have day to day lot of things which comes in our mind. There are a lot of statistic which we see. For example, in cricket, when you are seeing IPL, you are seeing, they also do analyze and they show you the statistic. They also show you a lot of things which like about the weather forecasting, about the best player, about the person, what is his training style, how many run he is acquired, what is the run rate, and how many estimate run he will do. All those kinds. If you're seeing a GPS map, you will see in our day-to-day life that how GPS map is trying to analyze the traffic. They also use data analytics to analyze the traffic route, which is the best route available for you, what is the estimated time, everything they do it, right? So this is very important. Even in the Google also, when you try to search, Google also analyze and present the data in various kinds of forms. Okay. So let's see here. So statistic is there in every part of our life. It's a parts and parcel of our life, right? We see statistic in everything. We see statistic in our simple buying from the shop. Your mother in the house will keep a statistic, and every day, every month, she will analyze that what is the quantity of the grain she would require, what is the kind of every member of the family, what is their requirement, and accordingly from which particular shop she may get the maximum gain. So all these are statistic in our life, right? The statistic is so important. Even the galaxy, even the your friend statistic we use every day. Okay. So the calculation is a part and parcel of life. Data is a part and parcel of life. Unknowingly and knowingly, we are using data to take small decision to big decisions in our life. So the importance of data analytics has become very prominent from the time people started talking about recording the data, analyzing the data, and presenting and visualizing the data in the written format. And that's where the data analytics came into various things. So the science of and data analytics is not a magic. It doesn't, when it predicts something, it is not an astrology. Sometimes the data analytics is connected with astrology, with astronomy. And we say that, like how the astrological person talk about, they also use data. They use a data, main data about your birthday, time, location, and they also use the data of the planet's movement, and try to connect that data and analyze and give you the prediction. Similarly, the data analytics also use the same thing. So sometimes people may connect the astrology and astronomy also with data science. Okay. Like for example, if simple data analysis, if you're doing about the football and the national football leagues or anything, basketball, academy, and you want to see how many games are played, let's say per year, and what is the progression every year, number of progression, number of games played every year, is it increasing, decreasing, what is the success rate of each team, what's the success rate of team players, how the team players are, what is the kind of expenditure of government is doing on that. So all these things are there. If you see in our day-to-day life, Uber is using or every business is based on data. So millions and millions of data are used, and how they use it. Okay. So let's just go to one of the very interesting case which I want to discuss with you. And this is a case study which each one of you should know, whether you are a data analytics professional or not. So how big data basically helps. So big data basically, one of the case study which is discussed in Harvard Business School is about the target pregnancy score. And this is a case which I've taken from Harvard Business Review, that how Target can find out whether you are pregnant or not, and which is your delivery date. Okay, they can predict that. So one time I'll tell you a story and how data is narrated in the form of story. So there was once a person who walked into a Target store and started shouting on the manager. And he said, I want to meet a manager. The manager came and he said, what happened? And he said that, how dare you send promotional letters of baby products to my teenager daughter who's studying in a senior higher secondary school? Are you suggesting that my daughter should get pregnant? How can you do that? And the Target manager was really confused. He said, I will get back to you, sir. Please, my apology from my side. I'll find out and I'll call. The customer left and the Target manager called his own people and started asking him what happened. And the person said, everybody started, trying to analyze, because all promotional mails goes through data analysis, right? And they started gathering the data about the girl who this particular promotional mail of baby products or the pregnancy related products were sent. And they found out that they found out that this particular girl was actually buying all those kinds of stuff which normally a pregnant woman buy. So the consumer purchase pattern is analyzed in data analytics, And accordingly, the promotional products are sent. So they found that she is buying all those products which are normally a pregnant woman buy. Like in US, she's buying unscented, cosmetics. Normally, during the pregnancy, certain women become very sensitive to scents and perfumes. Perfume or scented soaps, toiletries they don't buy because they get nauseatic. So they buy unscented. They buy certain food supplement which normally a pregnant woman will take, iron, zinc, all those supplements. They'll buy certain clothes which are oversized. So that's the reason these data, the purchase pattern is grouped together, which is called classification, or which is called grouping in data analytics. And through that, they find that a purchase pattern is similar to the purchase pattern of a pregnant lady. And automatically, the promotional mails related to the purchase pattern, which is similar to a pregnant lady, was sent to her. It was not done manually. It was done all automatically through data analytics. So the manager called and manager didn't know how to call. And he called the father, and the father apologized and said, "I'm so sorry, I found out that my daughter was pregnant." So before the parents knew, the company knew, the target knew. And that particular thing is called a pregnancy score. So let us look into that case. Okay. Pregnancy score 87%, how they can find out in this particular case. Right. So the purchase pattern. If you see here, the purchase pattern data. Okay. So these are the certain very significant kind of a purchase behavior. Now, through this purchase behavior, let's say the girl has purchased cocoa butter lotion, which is unscented. Normally, pregnant women in US buy that. Double XL purse, right, for herself to keep her foods because she would need to eat on time certain supplements of the foods. You can see here, zinc magnesium supplements is bought, price. Once this lotion is bought, 2 times the purse was bought, 3 times these supplements were bought, 4 times bright blue rug was bought. These are very peculiar purchase pattern. And when you connect all these purchase pattern, the score, pregnancy score, comes as 87%. 87% accuracy that the woman is pregnant. And automatically, when this particular score comes, which is about 60 or 70%, the promotional mail related to baby product is sent because the woman is nearing to the delivery. So this is how the thing has come out. And this is a story which you can build up using a data case. Now, if you see here, how the target has constructed the pregnancy prediction model. Okay, age is one of the factor. Definitely the age is a fertile age of a woman. They can't just send because there might be, sometime it may happen. The gender also is important. A husband can also buy the same stuff for the woman. Doesn't mean that a male, you will see that, okay, that particular male is pregnant. So obviously, you have to see all these pregnant. So likely and unlikely. You have these 3 categories of data. You put age, definitely the age supports the fertility. Gender, female, supports. Income, the girl doesn't have. I'm giving you the pattern of that girl. No income, dependent on parent. Doesn't mean that she can't become pregnant. It's not related, but there is some relation to that. Past purchase indicator. Past purchase, she has never bought cocoa butter. She has not bought any supplement in the past. So that also suggests the past purchase intensity was not so very high. She used to purchase not very regularly. All these are linked, and ultimately you reach the data of the past purchase, related item of pregnancies, target items which she's buying, age, gender, all these which have shown, gives an output, which is the pregnancy score, which was 87% in her case. And the action which was done by the application was product selection in the brochures related to baby product, which was sent to her on her mail. One more example we will see here, political polls. In the political polls, you might have seen now in Karnataka, the political polls are happening. Most of the TV news are asking the people, the public to, give their thing, and accordingly they predict which particular party is going to most likely to win. Okay, so political polls, the poll results which we see, poll results also generate a lot of actually revenue for many companies, let me tell you. So they're using to, the news channels are using this particular political poll results to motivate the candidate. Ultimately, sometime these political results may sometime sway the undecided voter to vote. So there is a story here. What is a story? More than a statistic, which drive a politics and often make people wonder that which particular party they should vote. This particular statistic helped them in deciding undecided vote for them. Okay, so political polls are based on survey of the people. People might be approached by a company. There are in UK and all, like I told you last time, the Cambridge Analytica is a UK based political advisors. Similarly, in India also there are many companies who are pollsters or the news channels. We may have certain researcher who may do the poll, do the survey. So people may be approached by them on the street. They might be called at home or over the cell phone. In some cases, people may complete an online survey. So each polling group develop their own method for gathering the data, because data is necessary for data, right? So it doesn't take a lot of statistical know-how to realize the data collection. Sometimes it may have certain missing elements, or it is incomplete. It may have error also. It may be biased also. Those are a separate story. So a lot of people can easily, sometimes it may happen that some people may not fill those polls. So a lot of people who are polled, who are likely to answer certain types of survey, there is a group of people also who are targeted by these pollsters to get certain answers. Okay, they are motivated also to fill this poll, to gather the data. So what happens? This kind of a poll results, which is gathered through a data, through a survey, sometime may accurately motivate or influence a particular poll results. Why? Because when you show those kinds of poll results, it may sway the voters. It may tell a story about some particular candidate. So it may give lot of insight to many people who are watching this. Okay, so every poll result will tell a different story. Okay, as I said, that you can gather data from various sources. You may have all these kinds of challenges also. These poll results, most of the time, influence the voters or tell a story about a particular candidate. You know why that particular candidate has given or has got the maximum, polling. So the polling agenda or the company who do all these kinds of surveys, gather those kinds of data, analyze those data, they present a very interesting story. And the interesting story from this statistician influence sometime the poll results or sometime this, and it is beautifully presented. So whenever a data is presented, it is presented in a very interesting way of story. Okay, so let's take a sports industry. The sports analyst, the sports fan, the sports companies, the sport coaches, they basically take smaller and a major decision based on statistic. So statistic becomes a fuel of sports arguments. Sports, some you might have seen the commentarian talking about from the statistic. They don't just talk from their observation. So statistics are most likely can, form sometimes the statistic as a prediction, which is based on survey, which can certain time may be wrong or sometime may give a right results. It's just like a flipping a coin 4 times in a row and you're lucky to get a certain kind of a result in your favor. So this prediction can sometime be in your favor, or prediction can be true or prediction cannot be true. Okay, so let us take some examples and see. Okay, Nowadays, most of the tools or technology, wearable devices are available. These wearable devices also analyze the statistic like your heartbeat, your running speed, the number of walks or number of steps you take, how many kilometers you walk. It records the past data of your number of walk or speed and everything, your energy level. Like I was seeing on that day, then cult, when you enroll in the cult nowadays, you don't have to go to a the cult center, basically the gym, the cult gym, to basically do your workout. You can do it. You can the cult, basically, if you suppose you enrolled in Zumba and you are trying to do Zumba, they will call some celebrity to motivate you to join that particular live session of the celebrity. That day I saw my daughter doing that. She mirrored the Zumba from a celebrity. She joined that particular session, and she is to register to join that particular session. So like her, there are a lot of people who have joined that celebrity session, and what they were doing it very beautifully, they tried to motivate a person. So what they did is, on the app, when you connect and you are joined, the app has an AI tool which map your energy level, because you have to put that particular mobile phone in front of you and you have to do the same kind of a step which the celebrity is doing. It will calculate the energy level, it will calculate the steps, it will calculate through the camera, because your camera is also on. It through the camera, it will record and it will analyze your body movement and see whether you are matching it. Are you stopping in between because you are tired, you are taking a breath? So it, from that, it will modify. It will also calculate the energy level of the other people who are doing, who have joined the same session, and give you a ranking and tell you whether you are better than how many people. Let's say 500 people have joined the same session. It will analyze the energy level and everything of these 500 people and rank you, that out of these 500 people, who is doing the best, who's the top 10 best, and try to do that. So same thing happens in the sports industry also. Okay, so for example, like this matches. Okay, so 82 games in both the regular NBA and NHL sessions are there. 162 games in regular Major League baseball sessions. So in American football, the NFL, which basically 32 teams play, and they play 16 games. They play sometime twice, some of the teams, and many of the team will never play at all, because if they have to come, just like a World Cup match, that who's going to play against who is going to come against whom. So a lot of statistics used in football. Statistic also do a lot of predictions. Even in cricket also, you might have seen that's a lot of prediction which is done. So I'm not going to go through this now. Let me just go to some interesting one. These are on hockey projection. This is all soccer projection. I'll send you this case study. Okay. Let us take a very important case study and story, which is about the exams. Okay. You might go through a lot of lessons in college classes. You have prepared a lot, but ultimately the fact remains the same, that every student at whatever age, they dislike exam. It make you feel, that even if you ask, teachers also dislike writing them. Okay. So how to grade, how to predict that, what is your preparation, and how are you going to score well, what will be the average score of the class. So nowadays there's a lot of pressure on the teachers that they have to come out with prediction that how the class is performing, a class in their subject, how they are going to get an average score. So we have some terms in the universities now, which is called, outcome based education. That education is no longer a teacher going and teaching and filling the job. Education is also about how a particular student's or average performance of the students is predicted. So a lot of software is used. Now I will, before going to this particular slide, let me tell you what we do in our university. So what we do is, in the beginning of the course, we set up a target. we set up a target about our subject. Let's say in our particular subject, there are some 100 students who have enrolled, and we analyze 100 students past school and also the past result in our subject by the past batch. We analyze that, we take that as a base, and then we give a target. So the past 5 years data of the students who have taken this particular course test, their performance score we take as a base to predict this particular batch a target. We set up a target on the basis of that. But that is not only the data which we take. We also understand, because maybe the past certain batch may be very good, very brilliant, or maybe they are average. So while we set up a target based on the past 5 years data, and then we predict based on the performance of the students in their internal exam, which is again in the form of data, in their assessment, internal assessment. So there are 5-6 parameters which we will have, where we will assess them on internal parameters. And based on internal parameters and the past score of the previous batch, we fix a target, which is an outcome of our education. That what we are teaching them, what is the outcome of that in terms of learning? That's called outcome-based education. And today, every university, especially the new education policy, focused on outcome-based education, where at the beginning of the course, a teacher or the course facilitator, based on the previous batch performance and based on this particular batch performance, predict or put a target that 65% of the people in this batch will pass the exam with 60% aggregate. Like I will say that out of 100 students which I'm teaching in my present batch, I will set up a target that 60% of the students will achieve above 60% marks. And out of 40%, 10% of the or 5% of the students may get less than 40%. That means they may fail. This prediction has to be correct. At least 80% accuracy should be there. So what I'm trying to tell, in sports, in games, in education also, today prediction happens. And prediction is based on the past data, the pattern in the data, the education, the type. Now, why this education-based outcome-based education has been introduced by the new education policy? Why? Because the government say, when you predict that from the past data, that in the past you have seen only 60% has achieved, or maybe you can say 75% have passed in your subject. Not more than 75, 25% people still fail. So what you can do? You can focus on those 25% of the students, identify them, focus on them, and make sure that your outcome or your result improve. So from last 5 years, you have seen that maximum 75% of the students pass in this subject. That means there can be a problem with the subject. The subject level is very high. The students, 25% of the students are not able to grasp that. Or even if you say 100% of the students are achieving success, means able to pass in your subject. That means the subject is too easy. So there is no challenge in the subject. The difficulty level, the achievement level, the level is very, very high. So you either have to set up your target at a higher level, you have to change the pattern of your course, everything is linked. So this is how the students in the exam, how do they do? Are they averagely performing? Are they performing really good? And based on that, your question paper, your evaluation pattern should come. Your evaluation pattern should not be something which should, now NAP is very much focusing on students' evaluation pattern. They don't want students to be evaluated on direct questions. They want them to critically evaluated on critical parameters. That means that whatever questions you are giving, the answer should not be straightforward. Answer should be something which they should think, come out of that. Whatever they have learned in the class, they should apply that, think on that critically, and then answer in their own word, rather than just rot a paragraph and just write word by word and get 100% marks. That's not learning. And that's what's the focus of NEP. And that's what the data analytics is playing a major role students today in education. No longer the education is very simple for teachers. The teacher's job has increased. Lot of result analysis has to be done by the teacher. Based on that, the curriculum need to be designed. Based on that, evaluation parameters need to be designed. Based on that, the question thing has to be designed. And every year, they have to analyze the previous year data and come out with a new target, new curriculum, new evaluation parameters. And that's what we are doing it now at present in our Jain University also. So for example, if you see here, you see a class score, 82 students, and average score is 69.4. This is what I explained you. So what is your present? What is your mean median scores? You know that what a statistical tool to come out with mean, median, regression, all this correlation. So average score is 69.4, median is 75, mode is 85. Okay. So it's very important that you should know that every organization from Google, Facebook, Apple, YouTube, Instagram, Netflix, Amazon, they collect more data about each and every person's. And these data give them a bigger insight about taking decisions related to even what a particular person should watch. It is not a mass, it is a personalized, customized evaluation and prediction done for each customers. Millions and millions of customer, when they can do analyze the data, segregate the data for them, and analyze separately for them, and get an insight and give them a particular output. That is where the data is. Okay. So data prediction is no longer an astrology. Data prediction is based on everything what you're doing. But the data need to be regulated. There is a privacy issue which comes. I'll just give you one small example of birthdays in US. Okay. I'll give you a very interesting case. So back in elementary schools, when you are in school, you will remember birthdays are very important, right? It's a very special day, a day where the class is focused on you. You can come in a very colorful dress. You don't have to wear a school dress. That day exemption is being given to you. Okay. And let me tell you what happened in US. So in US, schools found that the couple of kids it is possible, may share a birthday, but it's a horror for a kid. A kid doesn't want to share their special day with someone, because they want to be focused on by the teacher. The teacher should only focus, and they should be the important person on that day. But US school did an analysis and found 2 out of in every 30 students will have a birthday on the same day. And they tried to do an analysis of this. And they found, like I just giving you what was their finding, that the chances are 15% of the students from all the lots, okay, like 2 out of 30 students will share a birthday in the same class. 71% chances are that 2 out of the 30% students will have the birthday on the same day. Okay. In 30%. Okay. So now, and the same day are very popular. Some certain days also they found out are very popular day when more than 2 people in the group will have their birthdays. And they collected the data in US. This is a school in the US which did that. And they collected the data between 1994 and 2014. And they found the most popular birth date is September 9th. Okay. And the most popular birthday is in the month of September. Why? Because it seems that American makes baby when they have extra time, vacation time, the holiday time. Give a lot of American lot of time late in December when they have Christmas vacations, or early in January, right? December, Christmas vacation of 20-25 days, they will get at least minimum 10 to 15 days, or early in the January when the new year, they are on holidays. And after that, the 9 months, that means September, the delivery date. So most of them have, a lot of them have a birthdays on popular. And what are the least popular birthdays in the US? The least popular birthdays are Christmas, New Year, Christmas Eve, July 4th. And how is it that women can stop having baby on those days? That is also something, right? So the US doctors and expecting mom do their best to schedule around holidays via induction and C-sections. Because what happens in most, when they collected data, they found that how it is possible that these are the dates when they don't have. So most of the women go for, section C-section maybe. So they can select a date, and they select those dates which are all holidays. Because normally in US, the maternity leaves are very bad. They don't get any paid maternity leaves. Okay. Now the situation is getting little. So this is, if you see, this is the data which was analyzed, and all the pieces were put together in the US. And the interesting insight which came from the data of different country with different holidays, like the data when you try to find out the variables which can make a decisions about birthdays and all. It depends on holidays, depend on healthcare system. It also depend on religion. It also depend on doctor and patient's relationship. So how the statisticians have developed these kinds of a popularity to find out, the US birthday, which is very interesting case study for me. So they try to find out. See, you can see here. Now I will just show you certain data related to that. There are certain insight which they found. 365 days from least number of birth to count, number of birthdays, days numbers. 183 has about 11,000 birth. 183 day. 182 days have more birth. 182 days have fewer birth. That means top is 182 birth days. Okay. There's also one more case. Let me see the time now. Okay, we have time. So there's one more case study which I want to do about the data analytics, like pay gap at Uber. Okay. So Uber is a rideshare company. Okay. And whenever a rider needs a ride, they log on to the app, and the app then find a Uber driver in the area. And the rider enters a destination. Offer is made based on, again, the data analytics play a major role. So the price will come according to the mileage, time of the day, and other factor. So who want to, and they also decide that the driver can decide that whether they want to give a ride or not. Okay. So multiple drivers have the ability to accept and decline a ride, which is shared. Every driver get the same offer. First to accept the job, first one to accept the job about that particular ride, who accepted, they get that job. Every driver contacted had the same opportunity to drive on the same route, have the same kind of a thing. But when they did an all kind of analysis, this is what I was telling you, they found a very strange, story, or they found a very strange analysis. The male driver in the Uber, in US I'm talking about, these are all case study from US, male driver make more money than a female driver. Now, this study was done in Stanford and the University of Chicago, where they found that man made 7% more than the women drivers in the Uber. Okay. Now, Uber provided a massive amount of data to Stanford University. 1.8 million drivers, 740 million rides over 2 years of period that data was given. A random sample with massive sample size, I told you, 1.8 million drivers, data for 740 million rides over 2 years, data was provided to Stanford. And the Uber researchers also tried to work with the Stanford University to find out various variables to find out this particular study. Okay, this is what the data was given. So what was those variables which they tried to use in their data analysis? Gender, time, location, driver experience, driver's average speed. They found these are the variables which are significant in the studies. And they did a regression analysis. Which is regression analysis? It's a statistical technique which measure the variation between multiple variables. So what are the variables which you have taken? Gender, time, location, driver experience, driver average speed. Now, while it was easy to, and they found through this variables that male driver is making 7% more than the female driver. And these regressions help to determine, help the researcher to determine why it is. Why male drivers are making 7% more revenue than the female drivers. And what did they discover? A lot of people sign up for Uber driver. You know that it is a free thing. You can sign up for that. Okay. This is what is the analysis. And most, these are the many people who will sign up for the Uber driver. 35% of the men may stay longer than the women, because women may have a lot of things which, because of that, they have to leave that job. 23% of the women Uber drivers, they found the trend that women driver will leave the Uber services after 6 months. That was a trend. And they found that the male drivers stay longer with the Uber, and the longer you drive, more likely you are learned to, the male driver has learned the techniques and tricks to maximize their productivity. They also found the next thing that they found was time and location make a difference. Men seem to be more willing to make the airport trips. In US and all these places, they found that this is the experience. The male people stay longer in the Uber, and because of, they also use unknowingly the data to analyze which is the most productive or profitable route. Men are more willing to take airports. Men are more likely to drive late at the night, times and places which are paid more. Because of the driver, these male driver experiences, men target the more profitable neighborhood. In addition, the researchers saw that men drove faster. And because of these, they were able to complete more trips, more hours, more number of trips in a day, which gives them more money. Okay, this was a trend which they found from the data. Okay, also, more with the power of statistics, these researchers were able to measure which are the 3 factors or 3 variables that impact the gender gap, the payment gap. And they found, see, the woman made about 33 cents every dollar a man made. 7 cent differences, 7% I told you. So the time and location accounted for 20% of the gap. That means time with which the male are able to ride late in the night, females are not comfortable. Locations like airport drives or certain outskirts, female were not comfortable about that. So there is a 20% of gap which has come in that, which was accounting to 1.4%. Okay, because of the time and location counted for 1.47% gap in the payment of male and female. Experiences counted for 2.1% because male had more experience than female, and they knew more about profitable routes. Female knew less, so which accounted for 2.1% of, that is 30% of the gap. The speed, male drive faster, female drive obviously little slower than the male, which again counted for 3.5% of the gap in the revenue generated by male and female. So this statistic helped them in understanding and finding what is the why this particular gap in the male and female drivers are happening. Okay, so let me see what's the time now. Fine, let me see if I can take one or more. Television rating, let's take that stating. You always know about the television have TRPs. Television programs which are mostly watched will have high TRP, high rating. So detailed rating is done by one of the company called Nielsen, organization which basically seek, because you know that if a television particular program has a high TRP, they will earn a lot of revenue through advertisement. And the slot available for the advertisement for a particular program with the highest TRP will have a highest rating. Okay, for few seconds they may charge more than any other program which is aired. So the Nielsen calculate their rating. They use statistic rather than asking everybody that what they watched on the TV last night. The Nielsen organization took a sample. Okay, and they pick out a few homes to represent each demography, again in US, that might be interest of advertiser, because they have to give the advertiser that which particular program is most popular and their rating, and also the advertisement slot, which will be more profitable, more watched by this, because advertisement would like to buy a spot or a slot which where the more number of people are watching. So they take the help of these kinds of companies. So each home chosen by the Nielsen company will get a special box called set meters. And the box would keep a log of every program watch every minute of the day. And perhaps the house represented, by the white female, again US, 25 to 35, that had made 60,000 per year. In the northeast city of the US, they basically did this kind of a survey. So what they did, how they did the random sampling, they can't give in every house. One person represent 1,000 of people in that demographic. For example, if one female in northeast of the America is watching and where the set program is done, she represent 1,000 female in that day. If she watches a particular favorite program and a program has a better chance of continuing, if she chooses not to watch a program and she just forgot, or maybe she's not, and so that means that particular program is not watched by most of the female in that. So based on that particular sampling, they went ahead and did that. There can be a lot of flaws in that. Accuracy is not perfect also. And the home also, which is chosen by the Nielsen, should accept now that, okay, we are ready to give our survey, because this again can be a reason for privacy, that what we are watching, you people is knowing that. So Nielsen family, which are called Nielsen family, which allowed them to put a set meter to monitor what they are watching and allowed them to monitor their behavior. So what they did is, when they chose a family, the family should have at least minimum 5 members. And all these 5 members what are of different age group, and what they are watching, whether we have games, sports, news, or whatever they love to watch, is recorded. And this is how they collected the data. And with this data, they make several kinds of predictions. Right. Now, the statistics also included in, while they were making the prediction, the error rates, the time of watch. These were the variables. And the total number of people who are watching, might be watching, the timing of the sets which are watched, the number of program watched, the time for which the set was watched or the program was watched, the cable channels which is airing those programs. Okay, so a lot of factors were considered in this particular cases. And after doing this, for example, if they segregate into the group, the age group of people who are watching, for example, a female of 25 to 30, annual income of that particular thing, because every program is what is watched, the internet capability of that, and how much they are paying to the cable person, what is their annual income, that is also there. And this was a northeast region where they did all these kinds of stuff. And then they predicted that which is the rating. Then they did the rating of the program watched. And after they gave those statistics to the advertiser. So the advertisers basically can find out that which particular program is mostly watched by which particular age group and at what time, and how many people are watching that. Depending on that particular statistic, whether this is watched by male or female, the advertisers can put up a slot. And for example, if it is a female product, they found that most of the female who are housewives watch television during afternoon when they are free from their work, when nobody is there at the home, their children are away, their husbands are away, they're watching that daily soaps and whatever program. So the female related products are aired during that time. Those advertisers can book the slot during that. So these were the teenagers related products. What is the best time at what they are watching? What is the device they are using? Are they using laptop? Are they using the tablet PC, mobile phones? Through which are they using app? At what time they are logging in? And what are the program they watch? So female related products were watched during that time. So this is how the data analysis helped the advertiser in every field. Okay. Give me for a second. So I'm going to now end my session here. I want you people to tell me, because I'm really sorry this session was little, two different topics I have covered. Though I didn't intend to cover the data analytics, I thought of covering dark web, but the content of the dark web was very small. Maybe if you want me to continue on dark web, little bit technological oriented, I can do that in the next session. Otherwise, because 3 session I have taken on cybersecurity, you people can tell me that what are the other sessions or what are the other topic you want me to cover, because I'll be most likely to take a topic on cloud computing. I'm good at that. On AWS, if you want, I can take a topic on OpenAI or conversational AI, which is a very new topic nowadays, right? Like chatbot and all those kinds. We can also do a project on chatbot, and those projects can be building a chatbot or building some AI tools, using AI tools, some applications, which you can go ahead and which we can do. Last batch, we did all those kinds of stuffs. So if you want, we can do that, some practical project. So quickly, you can go to your chat box and write, what do you want the next session on? I would rather like a session where we can have we can have on NLP also, natural language processing, or something like that, because I would like a session where we can do some practical application and you can show me that. I can give you some work, and later on you can work with the help of your trainer and in your center, come in a group and show me that project. Okay, let me see. Machine learning technology, cryptocurrency and blockchain. Okay, 2 suggestion has come. Machine learning, cryptocurrency, blockchain. What else? Maybe AI in fintech. We can talk about that. Okay. Yes, anybody else? See, I can tell you a few more topics. If you want help, you can decide what you want. Okay. AI in cybersecurity, I can take a topic on that. How in cybersecurity AI is used. New tools of AI we can do. NLP we can do. No code AI. If I want, maybe I would like to take a session on no code AI. You don't remember that, because I told you that today it's not necessary that you need to learn coding. I have told you how you can create a website without learning Java and HTML. If you want, we can take one session, more likely to be on no code AI. Okay, where without code, there are so many applications, so many free sites available where you can, without AI, without the knowledge of Python or uh, anything which you are learning, right? You can just go ahead and you can create a solution. So we will take a session on open AI, if you people are all okay with that. Yes. Okay, so next session we will be doing no code AI. Okay, so what I want you people to do is, if you have a particular laptop or a computer or something, we can go ahead and practice those kinds of small project I will do. Small, simple project I will do on no code AI, just a data visualization project. Data analytics is also included into that. So it's a no code AI will cover both there. Data visualization using no code AI. Your machine learning also will be included, as somebody is asking here about machine learning. So when I machine learning without coding, we can cover it in no code AI. Okay. A cryptocurrency blockchain, I will try once to do that. I will also try to, in my session, I will take a I will call your director and ask if it is possible to get an expert on cryptocurrency and blockchain who is really good on that. I may give you theoretical knowledge, but the person can give you some practical insight. If it is possible to do that in my session for a few half an hour or something like that session, I can try to bring some person on that who can talk about it. Yes, AWS also will do. So cryptocurrency and blockchain I will do, and I will get also some expert after taking the permission from your director. AI and fintech predicting stock prices. Yes, we can do that. Chandrakant in one session. Cybersecurity. I can give you some material, Prashant, because I've already taken two. What I will do is, Prashant, I can take one session on AI and cybersecurity, artificial intelligence and cyber, little tech oriented, instead of talking little theoretical. Okay. So what we'll do is next session will be next session will be no code AI, which will covered machine learning little bit and data analytics little bit. Then if we get time, we can talk about AI in security and AWS. After that, we will start with AWS. Okay. But I will request if to Harinakshi ma'am, if any center, because I don't have AWS account. I used to have, but it charged me a lot of money. So I closed that account. So if anybody has a AWS account, if they can give me an access to that, during my session, I can help them in giving demonstration on how to, create. So if you can get me those credentials and give me for that day when I'm doing the session, it will be great help, because the students can have a practical exposure to learn how to create, how to do virtualization, how to come up with the machine. So maybe your trainers will be doing that, but then I can give them certain more insight upon certain things like web development and all those things. Okay.
Okay, madam.
All done, ma'am. Yeah. So next session is on no code AI. Okay. Then after that, one more session on cybersecurity AI, artificial intelligence in cybersecurity. Then we'll go to AWS like this. Okay. Then bye. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, madam.